So Pramod, an entire class of drugs, the Ozempics, Wegovy, Mounjaro are coming to town.
The Ozempic face
Yeah.
videos have gone viral after the Oscar Awards.
Yeah.
Ozempic eyes, Ozempic face, even Ozempic buns.
Yeah. The biggest limitation of these drugs, they work as long as you take them.
Yeah, I
And
loved Ram
interesting.
Kapoor's
Yeah.
Video where I think
Yeah.
he's lost some 50 kgs or
Yeah,
something.
amazing,
And
yeah.
then he was showing this and saying, ये जो है ना ये Ozempic नहीं बना सकता है.
At the end of the day, what's the profit here?
So I think Ozempic would be needed,
Yeah.
and people would be taking it to move from the fat cow to thin cow.
Yeah. Is it just 5 kgs and all these side effects and all that muscle loss? Not against the drug. I don't know I think that's a bridge we'll have to cross. So Pramod, an entire class of drugs, the Ozempics, Wegovy, Mounjaro are coming to town. What do you think it's going to affect on patient behavior side?
Patient behavior wise, hope is going to get created because it's already endorsed by a lot of celebrities. Also, doctors, mainstream doctors are going to get some more ammunition to prescribe these medications, because otherwise creating weight loss is difficult for the medical community as such, as they are really, really busy. So these time-tested, proven drugs which have undergone a lot of research are going to deliver a set of results for weight loss, and the medical community and patients are going to adopt it, and it's going to be a part of the overall diabetes management and weight loss plan to come.
So it'll be a new normal now, upcoming in a while. Literally every patient almost we see now, as it is we see I think about 2 to 5% at the moment having experimented with these drugs at least.
Yeah, especially our patients who are in US, abroad, some of them, even we've put them on Mounjaro or recommended Ozempic, especially if they're not responding to weight loss by regular approaches of change in diet and exercise. And they've been useful, of course. There's no question about that.
But how do they actually work? What's the science behind them?
I think more than the science is the experience. So all the patients who have used it and anybody who's going to be using it later are going to experience a lot of nausea starting from the morning itself. Okay, and the nausea is significant, and it gets on to the meals also. So when you start to eat the food, the nausea continues, and the satiety is too early, which means you feel like ending the meal with almost half the food that you regularly eat. So the action is experienced right from the morning by the participants. सुबह से ही nausea शुरू हो जाता है और वो खाने तक चलता है. Till the time they're eating food, they are going to feel nauseatic. And if they're going to be eating, let's say, an X amount of food and feel satiated or full, even eating half of it makes them full and they don't want to complete. And that is connected to the mechanism of action, and that is the delaying of the gastric emptying. So the food doesn't move forward easily. So the satiety is more, you end up eating less. And of course, there are actions on insulin and glucagon. Both insulin increases, glucagon reduces, and overall fat loss happens over a period of time because of less eating and hormonal actions. But Mallar, this is the part of the mechanism of medical action. A lot of side effects have been seen of these drugs already, and it'll be good to let the audience know about the limitations in a way and side effects.
I think the biggest side effect is going to be muscle loss. Indians, as it is thin fat Indians, we are sarcopenic, which is we have less muscle to begin with, and then when we take a muscle loss drug, I think it's going to create a catch-22 situation where you already have a low metabolic rate because of low muscle, which caused the excess fat in the first place, and now you're going to take a drug that further reduces the muscle. Reduce some fat also, but when the rebound occurs, and that's the biggest limitation of these drugs, they work as long as you take them. So you take it for, so many studies we've seen that you take it for a year, you take it for 2 years, within 6 months to 8 months of stopping the drug, the weight does relapse. And we saw a study which showed that for an average person of 100 kgs, 5 kgs is the only real weight loss that happens after 2 years of taking the drug. So at the end of the day, what's the profit here? Is it just 5 kgs and all these side effects and all that muscle loss? Not against the drug. I think there are a lot of cases where it's going to be indicated. Like I have treated quite a few patients with schizophrenia, with genuine limitations to exercise, with a lot of dietary restrictions. Yes, I think if we can bring in, and people who can't tolerate a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, fine. So drug adjusted weight loss will have its place. But to me, the biggest limitation is going to be the rapid reduction in muscle loss combined with the rapid regain when you stop the drug. I mean, that, I don't know I think that's a bridge we'll have to cross quickly.
Yeah, I think the Ozempic face videos have gone viral after the Oscar Awards.
Yeah.
And actors looking really old,
haggard,
because of the muscle around the eyes and the cheeks going down, which brings that puffiness and cuteness into the face. So as more and more people take the drug, for the duration they take, these Ozempic faces will come on the foray more and more. And not only Ozempic eyes, Ozempic face, even Ozempic buns.
Yeah, Ozempic buns, Ozempic bodies, because your entire muscular skeleton is just going to dissolve in a way.
Yeah, I loved Ram Kapoor's video where I think he's lost some 50 kgs or something.
Amazing.
And then he was showing this and saying, ये जो है ना, ये Ozempic नहीं बना सकता है. This cannot be made by Ozempic. So the whole muscle building.
I think you should tell people our philosophy, where we start them, where we bring them, and where we finally. What is transformation?
Correct.
Is it all just weight loss?
Correct. So I think Ozempic would be needed, and people would be taking it to move from the fat cow to thin cow.
Yeah.
But the whole journey from thin cow to strong horse, no drug in this world would be really supporting that. We will have to make changes in our lifestyle, in our exercising, and do that. And I liked your stuff. I think it was in Hindi कि ये 3 चीजें हैं. क्या कितना खा रहे हो, क्या खा रहे हो, और आपको क्या खा रहा है. I think you should talk a little bit on that.
Yeah, I think in English, to summarize it, it's obesity is always how much are you eating. It is a portion size disorder initially. Then it becomes what are you eating. So high glycemic foods, too much fat, too much deep fried, okay. But beyond these two, these are symptoms of a third, which is what is eating you. So obesity as a disease has to have a psychological component to it, where there's something that is eating at you, which is preventing you from controlling the top 2. Now all these medicines beautifully control step 1, which is they don't allow you to eat. Correct. So your portion size will come down to 1/4. Great.
कितना खा रहे हो वो कम हो जाएगा. How much you are eating will come down.
How will what you're eating, which is your relationship with decision making with food, will not change. Qualitative decision making. Quantitative will happen because of the drug. But the third one, which is why has this happened in the first place? I think that why is going to be required. I think that people have to start in reverse. Why do I want to lose weight? Why am I not being able to diet effortlessly? Why am I not being able to start from the bottom, then go to the what, and last is how much? Correct. But we are starting this puzzle with how much, somehow get the result. So the cart before the horse, start with the result in mind. And I think it's a very short-sighted approach to a chronic problem. And I think people are going to it'll create more nuisance than value in the long run. In the short term, I think there is terrific value. You have 2 weddings to prepare for in December. Take the drug from October, you look your best. No harm with that. And that's the vanity part of it, the cosmetic change. But if you have to get healthier, or as we call it, the wellness in the lifestyle segment, I don't think wellness equals weight loss.
Correct.
I think.
And price is also going to play a game, because even both semaglutide and tirzepatide, which are coming, easily it's going to be 1 lakh rupees as of now for a year, going up to 2 lakh rupees in a year. Correct. So there's going to be a certain segment which will be able to afford this. And the danger is that feeling of, okay, I'm the premium VIP person.
I can afford it.
I can afford it, so I'm going to go for it. So summary wise, yes, they are breakthrough discoveries, because
absolutely
there are n number of people who have tried dieting or exercising and not able to lose weight. So that initial physical thrust and shift
Yeah.
if one is mentally determined, will come from the drugs, and one must go for it, especially
Yeah.
once it's indicated by your doctor too.
Absolutely.
For diabetes and obesity reversal.
It's a great start.
And keep in mind the price,
Yeah.
keep in mind the side effects.
Yeah.
Ozempic eyes, face, bums,
Yeah,
Ozempic
muscle
muscles.
loss. You got to be
Yeah.
careful. Yeah.
Keep in mind those things, and commit yourself for greater health.
Yeah. You got a long-term commitment. It's a relationship with yourself. But to me, if I have to summarize these drugs, end of the day, food had become a drug for you. It's dopamine. You're secreting a lot of happiness pleasure when you're eating rich foods. Your food as a drug can't now be replaced by a drug as your food. So you're going to start having this drug to suppress the food that you were eating basically as a drug. So it's becoming a vicious cycle now. Between this, the behavioral modification, the choice making, the exercise is the best drug at the end of the day. So I think that when that comes in, fasting is a great drug as well. So fasting and exercise, these are the real world tools finally. But I think I don't see how replacing one drug with another drug, essentially you're still running drug to drug.
Addict.
You're a drug addict at the end of the day.
Either you were a food addict or you will get some medicine addict.
No, I think, like I said, it has its place. It has its place. And I said there are lots of cases where we will be first line users as well.
Oh,
no
yes.
harm.
We've already given it to participants who were stuck up in their weight loss, and it has helped to create a breakthrough. At the same time, our 9-day fast has also created breakthroughs for those who are stuck up. So given the variety of people that inhabit this earth, and the different needs that they have and different things that they can follow, this is going to be a relevant strategy, but for a chosen few, a select few who need it.
Yeah, also from a morbid obesity perspective, I think people who are 125, 140 kgs get fed up of a diet, get fed up of just motivational psychology all the time. They can't handle so much. So when you come from say 150 to 125, that took a monumental effort of 2 years of diet, of motivation, getting up. Your body is not built for it. At that point, there's no harm in bringing in like a protein shake. You brought in this as another appetite suppressant. It has a part in an overall therapy. I just don't see us starting at 150 kgs without changing any food education, without any dietitian support, without any exercise support. So if your knowledge base is not improving, you're just, it's a very shortcutty kind of solution. So I don't see it, it's a part of a solution. It's not a solution. So I think people have to be really cautious before I think 10% of the population today may be justified going on to it, maybe because of comorbidities or high levels of obesity.
Yeah, about 30 BMI for
about
obesity,
30 BMI,
or about 27, 28 BMI with diabetes and other comorbid conditions.
And it's increasing. The tragedy is that population is increasing, so the market for this is going to keep increasing. But I think all in all, people should be wise enough to first rationalize, is it really relevant, or am I just jumping the gun,
Yeah, and I think taking positions is very, very important from a psychological perspective, that all right, we go with the hype and hope and suddenly say, okay, this is it, all problems are solved, because many of the doctors at times are going on that side, saying that all the problems of obesity are solved in this world. We've hit the drug, all the obesity pandemic is gone now, just take this drug. I think that's one side of the polarization or position taking. Other is, any drug entering my system is going to be bad for me. I want to be away from drugs. I want to be as natural as possible, and again, that's a position which can limit results at times when a drug is needed. So going forward, we just need to be careful of polarization. A part of the scientific or the medical community might get polarized, saying that we've arrived, we've got the drug, obesity will be off this planet, and this is it, and take this drug for the entire life. Whereas the naturopaths on the other side will say, no drugs, go the natural way, drugs have side effects, avoid it, etc., etc. I think every individual will have to decide based on his or her physical, mental state as to for how long, if they need the drug, under medical supervision they take it, and also know that this is not the permanent
Yeah.
solution, because it has to flow from here
Yeah.
and then here and then here
Correct.
and then
Perfect.
everywhere.
Correct. Cool.
Yeah, so I think, as a parting thought is 17,000 people are free of medications and insulin. 5 lakh kgs weight loss
Has happened.
has happened without the drugs.
Yep.
So, and of course, we will be using the drugs whenever
Yeah.
needed, as we've already used it. But let's have a very balanced perspective of these wonderful
Yeah.
drugs which are coming in the market.
Yes. Remember, you can't have this relationship where because I've had the drug, I can eat whatever I like. End of the day, it's going to come down to the food and your relationship with it. So don't treat the drug as a cure.